Okay, so here we go. So we're onto the floor. So important movements from here, but your spine has just been spending its time being bent forwards and rounded. So obviously we need to just let the spine relax from there. We're going to do that by this anterior rotation, just letting the spine drop down. Feel the stretch starting to happen through your stomach muscles here, just letting them relax. It's not often you get a clear message to let those stomach muscles go in a Pilates class, but this is your chance to let everything relax. The word sag comes to mind, so it's a very unattractive word, sag, but let the back just sag and let the spine and the muscles that support it just drop down, letting the coccyx just come up towards the ceiling and just using that feeling of dropping forwards through your lumbar spine just to allow the shoulder blades to sort of drop together. Feel that stretch coming through the front of your rib cage and just holding that position there and just allowing the back just to sort of re-establish the other end of the scale from the scale it was using before. Because as we were dropping forwards and rounding and opening all the vertebrae, we were opening all the structures behind the spine. Now it's the turn of the structures in front of the spine to lengthen and drop. Anterior longitudinal ligament, aorta, all sorts of vital organs, all sitting on that posterior wall of your abdomen, just getting a really nice stretch forwards and just allowing that front part of your body just to lengthen while the back part of your body just shortens. And gradually the spine just feels like it's ready to just, from that very extended position there, to start to do what we call our little tail swish. So this is a sort of strange idea, but it's imagine that you've got a tail and that you're a dog and that you're wagging your tail. And as you wag your tail to the left, you try and look over your left shoulder to try and see it. And then you wag your tail to the right and try and do the same thing that way. So we're just getting that gentle, in that super arch position, we're just going backwards and forwards with our tail wag. Letting the extended spine just gently side bend as you go across. Arching all the time, looking up, but looking behind you as well. Looking up and looking behind you. Just feeling different structures stretching in that position. Opening the sides. And then from there, come back to the middle. Just instead of letting your coccyx extend, just roll your pelvis until you're into your neutral position. Instead of looking up at the ceiling or the wall ahead of you, just look down between, not between your hands, but the end of your yoga mat or your Pilates mat. And from there, let's just do a few more, just little side swishes, sideways, left and right. Just gently allowing now the sides to really be like a sort of concertina. And just being squashed one side and lengthen the other. And your pelvis is just driving left and right as you're doing that. From there, let's just come up into our high kneeling. So one of the areas that we have yet to stretch, we've stretched our hamstrings, we've got the spine sort of lengthening as well through that posterior chain, but here we are now, this anterior chain, these quadriceps muscles. First of all, we want the toes to sort of stretch out as well. We want the tibias here to be as close to the floor as they can be. Don't let your heels spread out like that. Try and keep them in, so that keeps the stretch coming through the big toe and the second toe as much as the other toes. So from here, that nice and high. Now, what we want to do with this, okay, we want to do a bit of arch and flex here. Arch and flex, just find that neutral position. Squeeze that core down, tuck that pelvic floor underneath us, and then just gently sit yourself back down. Feeling the stretch through the quadriceps
trying to take the weight backwards just to lengthen through the knees. And then from there, squeeze those glutes, drive that pelvis forwards, and feel that stretch coming through the front here. Let's sit back down again. So we can do that with breathing, just breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. Squeeze those glutes. Keep the spine nice and neutral so you're not arching your back to do this. Feel that stretch coming through there. So breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out and squeezing. You lift up. Excellent. Let's just squeeze those toes the other way. So just put your weight onto your feet and just wiggle them backwards so the toes are really getting stretched underneath you. Now for people like me who are tight in the bottom part of their quads and they're tight in their calf muscles, we can't go very far. So you sitting at home watching this video will be able to go further than me. So the reason I can't go further is just I'm too tight, and one is the hope is that in months to come, probably lots of months, that I should gradually get a bit better at this. So let's just sit back down, squeeze those glutes, and lift back up. Still that neutral spine. Breathing in, as I said, and then breathing out as I strain. Breathing in. And breathing out. And breathing in. And breathing out. Lovely. From there, we're just going to stretch the front of us here even more. So we're going to pop the arms up into a Y-shaped position. We're going to try and keep the spine really strong in that core, but we're going to arch backwards through our shoulders, and we're going to take some belly breaths in. So we really want to take a deep belly breath in as we breathe in, and as we breathe out, we just allow ourselves to fall backwards. Pushing those hips forwards as we do it. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out, and just dropping last time. And then just coming back up. Beautiful work. Well done. Okay, onto all fours again. This time, we should have those knees together, those heels together. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to keep ourselves, our hips are not going to be bending backwards here or going forwards, they're just going to the sides. We call this the windscreen wiper. So we're just going to allow, we're going to keep our spine neutral, we're just going to allow a rocking movement where we feel the sides of the hips stretch and come back, and the side of the hip stretch and come back. Going to stretch and come back and stretch and come back and stretch and come back and stretch and come back. And for all you folk, this is a stretch to the outside of the hip and also a muscle called quadratus lumborum. So it would be quadratic in shape, as all the very well-versed anatomists used to speak Latin so that nobody knew what they were talking about. Quadratus is just a geometric shape.
Lumborum means it's down in the lumbar spine, so it's that bit between your 12th rib and the top of your pelvis. And it makes up the back part of the core. And there's a big effect on anchoring the 12th rib. So just feet apart again, well done. And from there, just going to lie onto our backs, head on one of these, and just allowing ourselves just to drop down. That's underneath there. Arms down by our sides, our feet together, our knees together. We're going to turn out our toes, we're going to turn out our heels. We're going to bring those heels sort of fairly close into the buttocks, but we're going to think about an alignment of the feet. Inside the feet, just squeeze those big toes, and then squeeze those little toes. Same weight on both. If we've got it correctly, just think about that line extending up into the knee and down into the hip. From here, we're just going to talk about this neutral alignment of the pelvis. Now, it's a gut. So what we want to do is, we want to create a strong core. How do we do that? So we first of all find a position that the spine is working in, which is a good position for it. It's not a perfect position for it. There isn't such a thing. But we know that the lower part of the back works best if it's not flattened into a forward curve and it's not arched up and into an extended curve. So the spine should work somewhere in between the two. Now everybody's different, and some people have got very deep curves and they work perfectly okay, and some people have got quite rounded spines and they work perfectly okay. But we're trying to get a middle, sort of a Goldilocks position, where we're not too flat and not too arched. Okay, and that's what we're doing with our pelvic tuck. So as we tuck the pelvis down, and probably the easiest way to think of it is just to think of a marble in your belly button, your umbilicus. Just if you're going to roll that marble up towards your chin, you'd be flattening your back into the floor, and then from there, if you're going to roll that marble away from your chin down towards your heels, you're going to arch your back in order to do it. So just roll through that movement, flattening your back and arching away. And just think what's happening. Think what's happening to the muscles in your back as you flatten, and think about what happens to the muscles in your stomach as you arch. So flattening down and arching away. Flattening down and arching away. Then think of that arch where the marbles roll all the way down to your heels is the one end of the movement, and then that flattening where the marble is rolled all the way up to your chin is the other end. Come back to the middle where that marble just drops into your belly button. When you get to that point, that's the neutral spine. That's the area, the sort of position that you're in, that we want you to hold when you're doing your core work. Now, just take a moment to feel how much arch there is in your back, and just sort of how much pressure there is on your hips, how much pressure there is on your rib cage. And that contact that you're making with the floor now is what we want to hold and recreate when we then put the muscles of the core to strengthen around there. So how do we do that? The first way is that we start by just gently lifting the pelvic floor upwards. Pelvic floor, anus at the back, vagina in the middle, and penis at the front, or bladder, or both. In fact, both. At times with men, and only one with women. So just from there, just try and think about that feeling you get when you walk into seawater that's cold. It comes up towards your knees, and just before it gets to your tackle, you think, oh, oh, I just want to lift myself up away from that. And that, just that little lift up, that's exactly what we're talking about. Gentle squeeze around the anus, zipping the vagina from the back to the front, and then gently squeezing on the front of the pelvic floor just to constrict the bladder. So that's lifting that up. You'll also notice that when you do that, the lower part of your abdomen will just gently pull in towards your spine, as though you've got a low slung belt on and you've just done it up a notch. Next thing we need to do here is, these are called the costal margins. What we're going to do is we're going to roll those costal margins down towards your waistband. Hold there. And then from there, keeping your chin tucked in, okay, we're just going to start to challenge that position. So how are we going to challenge it? We're going to just challenge it with our hip twist level 1. We're just going to keep this knee absolutely still, stomach nice and flat, contact with your back exactly the same. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop that left leg out as far as it will go. Just hold that nice still here. Keep that contact still here. And as the hip is moving, you'll want to roll across, but just resist that by squeezing that core and then coming back up. You're going to drop the right side out, so keeping that left side still, drop that right side out. And as you do that, you feel as though you want to roll across to that right side, squeeze nice and strong with your core and resist that movement and come back to the middle. Excuse me. Let's drop again, so breathe out as you drop and breathe in as you return. And breathe out as you drop and breathe in as you return. And breathe out as you drop and breathe in as you return. And breathe out as you drop and breathe in as you return. Lovely. From there, still with the core on, still with the pelvic floor lifted, still with the ribs tucked down. We're just going to lift the left leg up into what we call tabletop. So 90-degree bend at the knee, 90-degree bend at the hip. Okay, from there, we're going to just walk it down. We're going to keep the core focused on staying exactly the same. As it touches down, we're going to lift this leg, the right leg, up into tabletop. Again, focusing on our core. Holding that position there. Same contact, even though the hip's moving. Lifting and lowering. Each time just trying to keep exactly the same contact between your low back and the floor as you did when you arched and flexed and got that neutral position. So lifting up and lowering down. Breathing out and breathing in. Breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in. Okay, we're going to add the arms just to help with coordination. We're going to get the shoulder blades to drop down. So as you lift your arms up, make sure that you don't pull your shoulders off the surface. Try and let the shoulders drop onto the mat, so there's a broader contact between your shoulders as possible. And what we're going to do with this is we're just going to let the right arm drop down while the left hand drops forwards. And then we're going to just lift back up. Now the thing that we're looking for here is we don't want to see the ribs flaring out. We want the upper abdominal muscles just working to control this and tuck it down so it doesn't arch backwards like that. So we're getting that breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in. From there, we're going to let the right leg
as the left arm drops back. So breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in. Can you keep that core still? Breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in. Breathing out and breathing in and breathing out and breathing in. Arms down by your sides. That's just got the core starting to function. You're going to have a bit of a break now because the core won't support you when you're first doing this for long periods of time. It'll just get tired, everything a bit floppy, and then you need to stop. So when you're doing an exercise and you feel your legs starting to shake or not being able to do it, then just relax, stop, give yourself a break. Try it again, but if it sort of happens again, which it will when you first start, don't worry about it. You've done enough. Okay, so from here, we're just going to turn onto our stomachs. We're going to allow ourselves to stretch out in a child's pose, which will let the head drop forwards, the bottom drop back. Just going to let the nice feel of a stretch coming through your low back. Lengthening as you do so. Letting the weight of your body drop down towards the surface. And when you take a big belly breath in, I want you to feel that sort of swelling and pressure just push out into your pelvic floor, just making the pelvic floor just stretch out. And as you breathe out, you just gently contract the pelvic floor. So you just lift it up, then you let it relax. Big breath in. Let that pelvic floor stretch and relax, and breathe out. And gently from back to front, squeeze in. Breathing in and squeezing out. Breathing in, relaxing and squeezing out. Contracting. Breathing in and breathing out. Last one. Relaxing the pelvic floor, then breathing in and breathing out. Very good. Come out to all fours. Just tuck those toes underneath you. Just gently let yourself rock backwards onto your heels and then slowly up. Good. And then from there, you're just going to take a big breath in and then just going to throw that breath out. Big breath in and breath all the way out. And big breath in and all the way out. And that is the end of our first Pilates lesson.